Thank you, Ms. Ware, for coming and debriefing with me. I want to talk about your lesson. How do you think it went overall, your math lesson?
I think it went pretty good.
Good. Overall, it was a pretty good lesson. I wanted to just share with you a little bit of feedback on your number talk section of your math lesson. And I wanted to show you a model of what the number talks video that we talked about. And there's a book by Sherry Parrish that I'm going to let you take home. But I wanted you to see an example of it so that you can kind of get a picture of what it should look like. And then we'll talk about maybe some of the gaps that we saw. Okay? All right. So here's the video.
Am I willing to share their answer? Crystal says
Agree.
Okay, who could defend it though? Madeline, defend it. Everybody's listening to Madeline.
15 plus 15 is 30, plus 1 more is 31.
Could you do me a favor just to help me? Can you prove that makes 30?
5 plus 5 is 10, and the 1s are the 5 and 10s. 10 plus 10 is 20, plus another 10 is 30.
Okay, so if I heard you right, you said these are 10s, and 10 and 10 is 20, plus 1 more 10. Okay. Different way of thinking about it. Lady.
The 1 and the 16 and the 15 are 2 10s,
Okay.
and I took 1 away from the 16 but didn't give it to the 15.
Okay, so you took 1 away from here?
Yes.
Just kind of hung it?
Yes, and then there were 2 15s, and 10 plus 10 equals 30, and plus 1 more equals 31. I have a
Okay. Nate, what did you do?
16 plus 15, and I added the 2 10s, and 10 plus 10 equals 20, and 6 plus 5 that equals 11, and 20 plus 11 equals 31.
Can you show me that jump on the hunger chart, please? What number do you want to start at? We'll start at 11. And can you show me plus 20?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Okay. Is there any other quicker way that you could know that that was 20? Plus 10 would land you where? Plus another 10 would land you 31. What would this be? That would be 11 plus 30. Okay. Is there another way we could solve this?
You add 5 of the 16 to the 15.
So you took 5 of this and gave it to the 15.
And that equals 20.
And that equals 20.
And then I'm left with 10. I'm left with 11.
You're left with
And
11.
11 plus 20 equals 31. Because 11 plus 10 equals 20 plus 10 equals 30.
And that's the same jump that Nate just showed us.
It's kind of in a different way.
It's except it's in a different order. Okay.
All right. So now that you've seen the video, and I did want to say that you did a great job. Your kids were really engaged. They were listening and interested in what was going on. But I just saw a few areas where I think we can improve. So what gaps did you see between the video and what you were actually doing in the classroom?
I didn't record what the students said.
Right.
And I think that would have helped the students get a clearer idea of what they were saying instead of just being verbal, that they could actually see a visual of it.
Absolutely. And so recording is a really important part of Number Talks because you record it, you post it, so that the kids can look and see an example of a different strategy. So, you give them a similar problem maybe the next day, they can look on the board and kind of see someone else's strategy and have something to glean from.
Cameron Worthy, report to the main office. Cameron Worthy, report to the main office.
Okay, anything else?
Maybe I didn't give my students enough think time.
Yes. I also noted that in your observation. When you put up the problem, you want to give everybody just an equal opportunity to just look at the problem and figure it out for themselves. Typically, they use hand symbols to let you know when they're done, if they have one strategy, two strategy, and so on, which is what we kind of saw in the video. Anything else that you can think of?
I know it needs to be individualized. I didn't have them do it individual. It was like kind of in groups.
Mm-hmm.
And I was noticing that sometimes somebody wouldn't be paying attention, or maybe they don't even have an answer. So I think that maybe individual should be instead of group.
Absolutely. Very important for them to have that individual think time to build their mental math capabilities. And another thing, I don't know if you noticed the amount of time that it took for her to get through the number talks, but it should be no more than 5 minutes. So make sure you use a timer, and be sure to, guide yourself with a timer. So just to review, and I kind of, in our Whetstone software, I documented just a few action steps. One of them is to use timers, use a handheld timer to stick the timestamps in your lesson plan and along your number talks to make sure that you're keeping to the 5 minutes for the number talks and the different components of your math lesson. One other thing I want to add as an action step is to do your exemplar first. So, for example, in that problem 16 plus 15, there were multiple ways that the teacher the kids came up with on how to add those numbers together by decomposing and compensating. But as a teacher, you need to make sure that you jot down and do your exemplar first so that you know what you want the kids to get from the lesson. Does that make sense?
It does.
So those are the two major action steps, the timer and then the exemplar. And then the other things that you mentioned as well, making sure you give them think time, and also making sure it's individualized. Okay? Anything else? Have any questions? Okay, thank you so much for your time.